We have some breaking news to get to right now out of Memphis. Charges are now filed against the 5 officers fired in the investigation into the death of TyreNichols. The 29-year-old died just days after a traffic stop earlier this month.
Yeah, an independent review of the preliminary autopsy shows Nichols was severely beaten and he suffered extensive bleeding. The body camera video from that traffic stop has not yet been released.
Joining us now from Memphis is NBC News correspondent Antonia Hilton. Hey, Antonia, so it's been nearly a week since these 5 officers were fired from the force. Walk us through these charges that we're just now getting.
Hey, Savannah and Vicky. Look, the city here is tense right now, but people are going to be relieved to hear that now not only are these 5 officers in custody, but they're looking at serious charges that include aggravated kidnapping, official misconduct, but most importantly to the residents of Memphis, second-degree murder charges. And that's exactly the level of charges that people were looking for, because while they have not seen the video, the descriptions that they've heard from the family, from their representation, but even out of acknowledgement from local leadership here and the police department itself, that what they're going to see is horrific and really a violation of humanity, that is the level of charges that people wanted. And what we understand right now, what sources tell NBC News, is that while we're going to hear more about these charges at the 2 p.m. local time, 3 p.m. presser that's going to happen here at the DA's office, we're not likely to see the video until tomorrow afternoon or evening. And the hope here is that coming forward with accountability, more information, a sign that the city is going to hold these officers accountable, is going to be received as sort of good news at a time when, of course, people are going to be in incredible pain for a long time. But the hope from some officials that we spoke to is that charging the officers first is going to bring the city to a place where there can be a dialogue about this, where there can be peaceful protests and a conversation, and people feel respected by the action taken by authorities here.
All right, Antonia, so you're saying that by tomorrow we may see this body cam video released to the public. We know there's a federal investigation that is also underway at this point. What do you know about that, and has the family responded at all to this latest breaking news?
We're waiting to hear what the family is going to say now that the officers have received these serious criminal charges. We're hoping that perhaps we might hear from them later today. And we heard that from 2 sources, this information about the body cam video being available tomorrow. Really, everyone in Memphis is bracing for that sort of final step. But you know, in terms of the investigation, the federal investigation is going to continue now, really uninterrupted by what we've learned here. There are a number of investigative bodies here that are involved. You know, not only is there an investigation of what happened with these 5 officers from local, state, and federal officials, but also 2 fire department members who are also under investigation for their actions when they arrived on the scene and, you know, in the words of people here, were responsible for taking care of TyreNichols and in the final, you know, moments of his life. And so we're going to hear more about all of this today at the presser coming up shortly. But really, there is a bit of relief now that people feel they have a sense of the charges that are going to be faced by these officers here.
NBC News correspondent Antonia Hilton for us on this news that broke just minutes ago. Antonia, thank you so much.
Life.
Life and liberty.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Justice and freedom, basically.
I don't know what to say. No comment. But.
A promise we made in the Declaration of Independence, that we are each endowed with the right to liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
It's shocking, and I personally consider it to be anti-God sentiment.
It probably was something that wasn't intentional, because usually I will forget something that I'm supposed to say that couldn't happen to anybody, since she is human herself.
I think it was intentional. She could have not, I'm pretty sure she didn't want to say it. Life.
Proverbs 6 says that God hates hands that shed innocent blood. So Kamala Harris omitting life is saying that children do not have the right to life.
We don't know someone's intentions to do something, but if it was on purpose, she shouldn't have done that. She should have included every little thing. But if she meant to do it, I guess it's like taboo. You know, it's like very horrible.
Didn't see it. I didn't. It could have been a slip. It could have been on purpose. I don't know. I don't know that it was anything having to do with the abortion rights fight that's currently going on in this country.
So it is insulting, and it's offensive, and she's plain old wrong in saying that. She needs to be called out for it.
Now, how about this for a quote? I've got 127 million followers. That suggests I'm reasonably popular. Those are the words of Elon Musk, until recently the world's richest person, in a call with investors late on Wednesday. Well, his electric car company Tesla reported record sales and profits. In the final months of 2022, its profits jumped by 59%, coming in at $3.7 billion. But Tesla shares have lost 2/3 of their value over the past year, and that's the problem. Some investors are suing him. Others fear that his high-profile and controversial takeover of the social network Twitter is damaging the company, as Samira Hussein reports now from New York.
You have named your car.
Yeah, a very creative name, Scarlett.
Anne-Marie Squeo was thrilled when she finally got her Tesla.
People feel like when they get a Tesla that they've joined a club of people who care about the environment, want to make the shift to an electric vehicle, but also don't want to sacrifice having a nice ride.
How has that changed for you?
Well, I mean, it's definitely changed, right? Since Musk acquired Twitter at the end of October, it's been very depressing and sometimes embarrassing to be driving this car around.
After agreeing to buy Twitter in April, Elon Musk then spent the rest of the year trying to get out of it. He sold Tesla stock to finance the deal, and after taking over, he reinstated former President Donald Trump's Twitter account, laid off half its employees, and is currently being sued by a group of shareholders.
Mr. Musk's public antics has certainly soured the brand for some consumers. But others still stand by Tesla and the cars that it makes, highlighting the technology and, of course, the availability of charging stations.
But it's been struggling lately. The share price has dropped 65%. In the face of slowing demand, it has significantly cut prices for top-selling cars. And there is much more competition in the electric car market.
Tesla's a different company than it was 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, where they had a really hard time figuring out if they would survive. Today, it's different. You know, yeah, we have a demand issue, but it's not an existential threat to Tesla. They have a lot of cash on their balance sheet. They'll continue to generate at least a little bit of cash, even during this turbulent macroeconomic time.
On the investor call, Elon Musk addressed concerns that his antics on Twitter are hurting Tesla sales.
So I've got 127 million followers. It continues to grow very rapidly. That suggests that I'm reasonably popular. It might not be popular by some people, but for the vast majority of people, my follower count speaks for itself. I think Twitter is actually an incredibly powerful tool for driving demand for Tesla.
Do you think you'd get another Tesla?
I wouldn't.
That is at least one consumer being driven away. Samira Hussein, BBC News, New York.
The United States has been acquiring debt for 230 years. In the 4 years that Trump was president, 25% of that debt was accumulated. 1/4 of the debt of the United States, 230 years, was accumulated in the 4 years that Trump was in power.
James Carville laying it out. Fact check, true. In those 4 years that Trump was in office, the nation's debt rose by far over $7 trillion. National debt hitting $31 trillion, which is 25% of all U.S. debt. This is sort of the chaser to the discussion we were just having at the top of the hour. And as promised, we break up the math. I'm never going to hit you with too much math unless I absolutely have to. But this is part two of the point. And boy, does it matter. And boy, does some of it scare Republicans who have an entire political message and apparently potentially debt crashing government strategy around people not understanding this basic math. And again, I'll go out of my way to say, you can have an honest debate about whether to raise taxes or lower federal spending in certain ways that are workable. But you cannot claim that this is somehow Biden's debt or Democratic debt. And I say that just as the person giving you the news. So take a look at this. Donald Trump added more to the national debt than Obama and Bush. And he is the rebels guy over there on the House floor. And that was after Bush increased government spending more than any of the 6 presidents preceding him, which included, of course, Democrats and the Great Society Democrat who did, at the time, increase government spending, LBJ, Great Society, all that stuff. What's different now is political. A Democrat's in the White House, so Republicans are complaining and threatening to crash the debt, refuse to raise the roof, the whole thing I told you. Now, as if that wasn't enough, Dayenu, behold what President Reagan said.
Congress consistently brings the government to the edge of default before facing its responsibility. This brinkmanship threatens the holders of government bonds and those who rely on Social Security and veteran benefits. Interest rates would skyrocket. Instability would occur in financial markets, and the federal deficit would soar.